He's 22 years of age. He's had a brilliant season with Bournemouth. Will he be going to that World Cup with England under Tuchel? Alex Scott, ladies and gentlemen, born in Guernsey, an island so small in football terms that the last player most people would name would probably be Matt Letitia. That's the context. In 2019, he left Guernsey FC for Bristol City, jumped levels fast, won the EFL Championship Young Player of the Season, and earned a £25 million move to Bournemouth in 2023. And that's where we start our story, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be taking a look at Alex Scott, his playing style, player profile, strengths and weaknesses, and who should be looking to sign him this summer. So when he joined Bournemouth, there was actually a lot of hype around him, especially because of his time, or more specifically because of his time at Bristol City. There was hype. Quite a few teams was looking at him. I believe West Ham were one of the other teams. Liverpool had taken a couple of scouts to watch his performances for Bristol City, and he was having a really good season in the Championship. Then, of course, Bournemouth comes in. His first season or two, he was kind of blighted by injuries. He wasn't able to realistically show what he could do in that kind of defensive midfield role. And he was a player who could actually play in a couple of positions. And the fact they weren't able to really show, again, he was young, and he is still young, to be honest with you, at 22 years of age. But being that young, acclimatizing to the Premier League is never an easy jump. There were a few questions asked about Alex Scott. Will he be able to truly fulfill that kind of potential? But he did go on to become probably one of Bournemouth's best players this season and helping them into Europe. So Scott wears the number 8 but operates in the defensive midfield role, and that combination kind of tells you everything you probably need to know about him, right? He's a press-resistant, ball-carrying central midfielder who connects phases and drives his team forward. He can scan early, opens his body before receiving, and almost never gets caught square to pressure. When opponents press him from behind, he uses his upper body strength to ride the contact and slip away. In Iraola's system at Bournemouth, a high-intensity, vertically aggressive model, Scott is the engine, and he's shown that quite a lot this season, probably why he is on radar. Iraola's football does demand players who can accept tight receptions, move quickly, and press hard without switching off. Scott is built for exactly that. If you watch him against Sheffield United, he was weaving through the traffic in tight spaces, and if you watch him against Brentford, absorbing contact and keeping the ball moving. You guys can see with the videos here, even the shots that he can take from outside of the box. He's a very accurate shooter. This season, he's had 387 defensive contributions in the Premier League, 60 tackles, 36 interceptions, 195 recoveries at the time of this video. He is everywhere. He is literally everywhere. Now, obviously, we're seeing quite a lot with how the Premier League is kind of going in terms of the kind of football that we're seeing. It's kind of gone back a few years, if we're being totally honest with you, in terms of it's not necessarily about the quality in terms of individually, but what we are seeing is the old school midfielders. We are seeing midfielders, as you can see here with his goal against Arsenal. We're seeing those late runs into the box. We're seeing midfielders who are being praised more for their engine, players who can, of course, as well as that, play in these tight spaces. And I think he's kind of got it. I won't lie to you. I do think he is a player who has actually got all of this in his locker. So again, I ask, is that a player that you think to have in your team? Is that a player that you think your team needs? Should he just stay at Bournemouth? Let's take a look at his strengths first, and we can really dive into it. So when it comes to Alex Scott's strengths, there are probably 3 things I would say, and listen, there could be more, but there are 3 things I would say stand out quite clearly. Now, first up is his press resistance. An 84.9% passing accuracy in the Premier League as a midfielder who plays in tight spaces is very exceptional. He doesn't panic, he finds the pass, or he carries out of trouble. Second, his defensive output. 80th percentile for defensive contributions among Premier League midfielders. For a player who also contributes going forward, that balance is very, very rare. Thirdly, his availability and durability. Yes, I did mention about his injuries when he first came to the club, but it looks like he's kind of gotten over that. And I think he has acclimatized very well from the Championship up to the Premiership now, and he's become more of an established Premier League midfielder. He has started 34 of the 37 Premier League games at the time of this video this season for Bournemouth, playing 2,859 minutes. For a player whose early Bournemouth career was defined by injuries, that consistency is a statement in itself. And then there's the intangibles. He plays without fear. He was doing it at 19 at Bristol City. He's now doing it at the age of 22 in the Premier League. That type of mentality doesn't just come from coaching. You either have it or you don't. And at the moment, he's showing that he's got it, people. He really, really is. Though, as you guys already know, no player is perfect, right? We need to look at the weaknesses as well. We can't just look at compilations and think that, yeah, this must be the complete player. When it comes to Alex Scott, one of the main things I look at is his creative output. It's not that great. 1 assist and 27 chances created this season suggests that maybe his final end product in the attacking phase doesn't yet match his quality on the ball, especially in the transitional phase. His expected assists, they currently sit at 2.95, meaning the chances are there, the end product isn't always following. Now, that might not necessarily always be down to him. Another part of his game, I guess, and again, this is me more nitpicking so that we kind of get a full picture, is his crossing. Only 15.9% accuracy, which limits his contribution from the wider position. So you may not want him out there in those wide areas trying to put the ball in the box. When it also comes to his aerial game, he's 5'10". He's got a respectable 54.4% one, but he can be exposed against physically dominant opponents in central areas. And again, look, I just want to reiterate, these aren't fatal flaws. They're just gaps of someone who's 22 years of age, still growing into his ceiling. But they are there, and it all really depends, again, on what it is that you're really looking for from this type of midfielder. Now, when we go to the what's next, this is where I feel it does get a little bit interesting, because usually, when you look at these kind of videos and you watch these kind of videos, you would think it's more, I guess, isolated to one team. But when it does come to Alex Scott, I don't really know, because he isn't a headline signing. He's more, in my opinion, like I would say a foundation signing. So, for example, a club like Liverpool, who are in dire need of midfield depth, and they are desperately need a press-resistant type of player, he could fit that mold. A club like Arsenal, who already know his quality, obviously scored against them this season, but probably could do with another player like him in the midfield when players like Declan Rice or Zubimendi or even Marino are out injured or just need a rest. Or you could look abroad, a European side, a club in the mold of maybe Atletico Madrid or Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, who they like to build around high energy, intelligent midfielders. I think he could easily fit into one of those teams, or he could just as easily stay at Bournemouth. 34.6 million is his overall price tag. I guess that's the transfer market value. Contract runs until 2028. Window to sign him affordably is going to start closing very, very soon. And in 12 months, that price will probably look like bargain. But it's going to be interesting. He's the clearest example of what a product of English football is, but he's also got that flair, he's also got that kind of technique within his game, a player that the algorithm, if I'm being honest, hasn't really caught up with. But guess what? The data has. Championship to Premier League, from injuries to nearly 3,000 minutes this season, from obscurity to potential England squad. Listen, the question isn't whether he's good enough for a bigger stage. The question, in my opinion, is which club is smart enough to move first. Let me know your answer in the comment section. Who do you think would benefit the most from signing Alex Scott this summer? And if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, make sure you subscribe ASAP. If you haven't watched my Lamine Kamara video, make sure you go and watch that. If you haven't watched my Yan Diomande video, make sure you watch that ASAP. And I'll catch you guys real soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.